Good morning, you're watching The Mint and I'm Andy Hodges. Let's have a quick look at last night's closing prices on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. Also African currencies, commodities, energy and metal prices around the world. In our main story this morning, Zimbabwe in the month of October recorded a trade surplus of $82 million. Exports were $483 million against imports of $400 million. During the 10 months to October 2019, total exports amounted to $3.3 billion, while imports were $3.97 billion. The cumulative trade deficit to October 2019 was $661 million, compared to a deficit of $2.1 billion recorded during the same period in 2018. Why such a variance between 2018 and 2019? Well, it appears the main reason for the trade deficit narrowing was really mainly due to shortages of foreign currency for imports in 2019 as compared to the previous year. Zimbabwe's main foreign currency of earners, such as tobacco, were affected by the adverse weather conditions, while gold, nickel, mats and ferrochromium also recorded a drop due to reduced production caused by energy shortages. Diamond and nickel ore exports were the only sectors to record growth, increasing at 23% and 78% respectively. Zimbabwe's Finance Minister Ntuli Ncube in his 2020 budget statement said, and I quote, "The current account managed to deliver a positive balance of $116.4 million during the first half of 2019, which all pointed to positive signs for restoring the much-needed macro fiscal stability and elimination of the twin deficits." Reserve Bank Governor John Manguchka said in response to the fiscal and monetary reforms, the country witnessed an improvement in the current account balance during the first half of 2019 due to import compression following the expenditure switching effects of the introduction of the exchange rate, which has seen consumption moving away from imported products to domestically produced goods. The Monetary Policy Committee, in their latest meeting held in January 2020, noted with satisfaction the increase in foreign exchange flows into the country in 2019. In addition, it was noted that despite the liberalization of the current account, imports had declined and the technical surplus in the balance of payments was achieved. The committee recognized the need to gradually build up gold and foreign currency reserves to boost confidence in the domestic currency. Zimbabwe needs to switch from a nation of importers to a nation of exporters. Buy Zimbabwe is not just a slogan, but if carried out by the Zimbabwean population, it will have a huge impact on the availability of foreign exchange, which can then be utilized for priority payments such as fuel and electricity. Delta Corporation, in its trading update for the third quarter and 9 months to 31 December 2019, notes that the current trading environment is characterized by high inflation, unstable exchange rate with limited availability of foreign currency in the formal banking channels. In the comparative period to February, the trading environment is characterized by the value of the RTGS dollar deposits that were being eroded by fast depreciating exchange rates and cost-push inflation. Low disposable income in salaries and wages of consumers has constrained consumer spending. Meanwhile, power outages and constrained fuel supply has also negatively impacted Delta's distribution and production operations. In a trading update for the fourth quarter and full year ended 31st March 2019, the acute shortage of foreign currency was noted despite the introduction of the interbank foreign exchange market. The sourcing of imported raw materials and services remains a challenge due to the delays in servicing overdue payables. There was a decline of 43% lager beer volume performance for the quarter and for the 9 months compared to the same period last year as a result of the trading environment. The fourth quarter and the full year ended 31st March 2019 also saw a decline, which was, however, as a result of increases in RTGS dollar wholesale and retail prices. This has resulted in the corporation shifting focus. The Shogun beer volume in Zimbabwe declined by 41% for the quarter and 25% for the 9 months, impacted by the constrained supply of maize and escalation in the cost of imported inputs, such as packaging materials. At Natpu, Zambia, however, the volume was 32% down for the quarter compared to last year due to some pricing disparities with other alcohol categories, particularly driven by the steep increase in maize prices. The sparkling beverages volume grew by 38% for the quarter and is down 40% for the 9 months. Delta noted that volume recovery was in response to improved product supply and moderated retail pricing. The recently launched no sugar variants are popular and have been well received by consumers. Previously, this section of the business had been virtually closed down during the fourth quarter and full year ended 31st of March 2019 due to non-availability of imported raw materials. The demand for ciders and white spirits is reported strong despite a concern about the illicit trade in some of the product categories, which may have contributed to the 10% drop in volume trade for African distillers, AFDIS, during the quarter. At Schweppes Holdings, an outage of the key imported raw materials of both Missouri and Minute Maid brands resulted in a 23% decline for the quarter. However, there was an improved performance on the recently launched Fruitaid range of products. To mitigate the power outages at the Harare factory during the quarter, the entity commissioned a 1 megawatt rooftop solar plant. Delta shares are moving upwards and have gained over 9% as of 30th of January 2020. The revenue for the quarter grew by 27% in inflation-adjusted terms, reflecting the changes in product mix and price increases that are based on replacement costs. However, over the 9-month period, increase in revenue was only 2%. The operating environment is expected to remain challenging for the remainder of the year. The company states that it will manage the emerging risks with particular focus on reducing the foreign liabilities and maintaining consistent product supply. The current shortage of maize and the anticipated drought in 2020 is likely to impact negatively on the business, particularly the Shogun beer category. In their trading update, Delta also advised that the cautionary statement had been withdrawn following the renewal and signing of bottler agreements with the Coca-Cola Company. Corporates are now constantly reviewing their strategies in line with the harsh Zimbabwean economic environment. But for those companies with the right business model, there are still numerous opportunities in Zimbabwe. For many people who have been complaining about the high cost of internet connection when it comes to making WhatsApp calls, they can now heave a sigh of relief as a 26-year-old Rwandan student has made a remarkable discovery that will turn things around. Diodate Mungezi, who is pursuing information and communication technology at the Polytechnic Regional Center in Kigali, Rwanda, has figured out a prototype that will enable WhatsApp users to make internal and international calls without the internet. According to a report by local news portal News Times, Mugenzi said his prototype development was driven by the fact that internet connection is expensive in most areas of Africa, with many not able to access the internet at all. The ICT student said he generated the idea of free connection in 2017, and with the only materials available to him at the time, that is his laptop, library books on physics, he started doing his research. What helped him more, he said, was the skills he had gathered so far in classes, as well as the knowledge he acquired from books on physics. The computer system operates using optic physics, mobile gadget communication techniques, and networking principles. It enables users of WhatsApp to directly call mobile phone numbers. Currently, only WhatsApp users can call WhatsApp users. This means that Rwandans and Africans in general will be able to communicate with their fellow Africans, especially those who use feature phones, phones that do not allow the use of popular internet services. The use of smartphones in many developing countries like Africa is very limited. In Rwanda, the number of smartphone holders is well below 1.2 million people, and this creates a challenge for service providers. In order to use the platform, Mungezi has to register the numbers of both the caller and the receiver on WhatsApp. The system cannot allow multiple calls at the same time. Mungezi also needs more support to conduct intensive research and studies to enable him to scale up his system. He is currently partnering with the American Embassy in Rwanda to offer innovative training to several young people in the country. I'm Andy Hodges, and you've been watching The Mint. Please follow us on our Facebook page, Zim Papers TV Network, our website, ztn.co.zw, and YouTube under ZTN. Your comments, of course, are welcome via our Twitter handle at ZTN News and on Facebook. Join us here on The Mint every weekday morning at 6 a.m. Central African Time. Well, that's it for me this morning. Goodbye. Have a profitable business day, and you all be safe.